And I get the wand, so it's as the hero.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. This is the pre-show. We're going to start the show in a little bit as our stream populates to 5 different networks. We're on Periscope. Bless you. Salut. And we are going to be on Facebook as soon as this pulls through. Make sure the volume is muted. Hope everybody's doing good. We're back. Last week we had a break. Not really. We just didn't do the show. We were still working. All right, there it is. Hello, Facebook. Welcome to the pre-show. We're going to start the show in 4 minutes. So bear with us while we pre-populate our streams. All right, what's everybody in Facebook? We are doing a pre-show. We're going to start the show at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So in 4 minutes. We're just getting the stream started now. Twitch is still working. It's trying to connect. YouTube is also trying to connect. So bear with us as the stream populates to 5 different networks. Again, it is YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Periscope. I feel like I want to say more. Where else are we? Yep, just those 4 networks, I guess. We're missing Instagram.
Yeah, they don't let you pull a broadcast through.
They did.
Oh, they do?
He used, PT used to do it.
I thought he did it with a different phone.
He did it with a phone, I think you're right, yeah. Yeah.
We could do that.
So you look at
You just have to look at a really good placement for it.
I obviously don't have Twitch anymore, but it would show up there.
Oh, we stopped doing Twitch?
No.
Oh.
We just stopped checking it. I think we got a package. So if anybody's in the chat room, say hello. Where are you from? I see Kirby's in the chat room. Alensky is hanging out.
What's going on? We're
Doris is in the chat room. Hello. Yeah. So what you're looking at over here is the Mosaic palette, and the box serves as a little elevation for it. Looks pretty well. Pizza is here. No pizza. I don't know who that was. Who was that?
HOA. They just needed a vote on some stuff.
Oh, wouldn't you just love gated communities? No pizza, sorry. Pizza was last night. We should start the show. Oh, it's 2 minutes from now. Okay. Make sure to remember to cut all this out.
Am I unmuted? Yes.
Can't tell. Hello from Germany.
Hello, hello.
Sphinx is in Germany. Hello. Hope the weather's good there. Thank you for the like, Doris. Philip Moyer is saying howdy from Washington State.
Hello, hello.
Ryan is from the Netherlands saying hello. We are truly international.
Tell HOA to lower the bills. Actually, there was no raises this year
Thank
on their
you
budget.
for the comment, Owen, on nice videos. I am Kirby. I am actually inspired. So Kirby in the chat room is saying, are we going to watch the Make live stream later for the camera slider? You betcha. I'm super jazzed about it, and I have a pile of parts on my workbench over there. I've finally got a good idea on what to do with our BLE slider in terms of like sticking it on a tripod. So I'm going to use 2 aluminum 2020 slots to brace it to make a little plate for a quick release plate tripod adapter, because I really need to do that. I was looking at the Fusion 360 file, and man, it is a mess.
They've done so many updates since.
I don't think it's that. I think it's just I didn't know what I was doing. So components, sketches, they're all yellow and red, and there's joints. I don't even know what they do. It's pretty messy, but I did have help from Taylor Steen, who works at Autodesk. He helped me model some of the components. So those are good. Those are really good. the problems is like the master assembly and sub-assemblies are all kind of mismanaged. So we didn't really know where it was going. But
Yeah.
now that
again,
we
there
know, we
was-
can fine-tune it.
Yeah. they
Yeah, I like the idea
finalized
of the
some stuff
feather
before.
OLED instead of Bluetooth. It's probably better because I do find myself having to switch between two Bluetooth apps to get this rig working because they're two separate devices. So it's a little bit tricky, but this is what I have, and might as well update what we have so that it's a little bit more sturdier and can fit on a tripod. As we've been using it, more and more with our builds, you start seeing, well, what are the problems with it? And there are some problems with it. It's like the feet aren't the best thing.
Yeah.
It's too low or it's not high enough. Well, let's start the show. You ready, Pedro?
Let's go.
Let's look at the intro. Here we go.
Excellent. In the middle of.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another Layer by Layer. I'm Noe, designer here at Adafruit. That sounded weird.
That's not layer by layer. Welcome to 3D Hangouts.
I didn't say Layer by Layer, did I?
No, you did.
You're kidding.
Welcome to another 3D Hangouts. I'm Pedro Ruiz, creative tech here at Adafruit, and every week we come to share 3D printed projects featuring electronics from Adafruit.
That's right. This show we combine 3D printing, DIY electronics, making inspiration projects for folks like you in the chat room. Hello, everybody in the chat. We're live streaming. Thank you so much for joining us. Today is episode 100 and XX. We are hanging out today.
63.
Let's
163.
163, almost 200. What are we gonna do for our 200th episode?
Probably make something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what we do. Hey guys, check it out. Today's coupon code is DOTSTAR LEDs. I guess I did say later, brother. Yeah, this is 3D Hangouts. Anyway, if you have anything you'd like to get in the Adafruit shop, you can use the coupon code DOTSTAR to get 10% off your order. We got some nice freebie deals going on. If you go to adafruit.com/free, you can see all the different things that we are offering.
These are the best freebies
Some
we've
of them
had.
are out.
Yes.
So check the site for.
You got to get on that really fast.
Something is out. I forget which one it was. Lamar and Phil talked about it last week. So check out adafruit.com/free to see what kind of free goodies you can get. You can collect them all. Okay. Same day delivery is still an option that's happening in New York City. That's where you can order something and get it in the same day. In New York City, of course. So it's pretty neat that we have that. Adafruit Daily is the newsletter that comes to you daily. If you'd like to subscribe to it, go to adafruitdaily.com. If you'd like a product-focused newsletter that comes once a week, you can subscribe to Adabot's newsletter, New News. We're in the Discord chat room hanging out. We're going to take a look at some of the projects in Show and Tell room in the Discord. The link to Discord chat room is up there at the top of the chat room. It's discord.gg/Adafruit. And with that, that is the intro of the show. Welcome, everybody, to 3D Hangouts. This week's project brought to you by DOTSTAR. So that's what we did this week. So this is a project that you can find on the Adafruit Learning System. So if you go to Adafruit Learning System, learn.adafruit.com, that's the site. You're going to see this guy here. This is our latest project, and Lamar started the code for this somewhere around October, probably early October. She had some cycles and wrote this in Circuit Python. So we've done, not we, but as Adafruit as a whole, has done a lot of POV projects, persistence of vision. That's where you have a lot of flashy lights, and when you move them, you see images. Really great for light painting, but it looks really good in the eyes. Like, you just see this. It's pretty neat effect that your brain kind of compiles this image and draws it with these blinky lights. It's really cool. I figured I'd put a whole list of POV projects that are on the Adafruit Learning System. We got a bunch of them. The difference with this one is that it's using the Feather M0 Express. So with the M0 Express, you get CircuitPython, you get a lot of extra pins for power and voltage, you get built-in USB recharging, you get a lot of cool stuff with it. So the goal with this project, in my eyes, was to really simplify the parts. If you look at the parts list, it really is just a feather, a switch, battery, and the DOTSTAR strip. So these DOTSTAR strips come in different densities. This is the high density, meaning you get 144 of these individual RGB LEDs in a meter. So I have them listed here. Now you don't have to use the high density version, you can use the medium or even the low, but your image will definitely be skewed because the pixel pitch isn't as dense. So that's how we're able to get to. You can still kind of see the black kind of lines in between the lights, and that's just because there's just like 7mm between those LEDs. So that's what it looks like. My goal was to kind of design a simple handle to house the battery, the feather board, a switch, and of course the DOTSTAR LEDs. So that's what it looks like. It looks like a kind of like a magic wand or something, or kind of like a rotisserie carving knife for cutting turkey or something. But it works out really well. Let's see it here. So the effect works best in kind of special lighting, or at least for video. Right now I can see it perfectly, but over the camera, it tends to work best with high exposure times. So if I bring this low and bring this high, you can kind of see, who are these guys? Do you know who those are? Two pixelated folks here. So right here I have Lamar and Phil that I drew in an 8-bit format here. So there's Lamar with her pink hair and her glasses, and PT with his goatee. So that's my live demo. It's not the best, but hey, there it is. It's kind of hard to capture this on camera. It's very hard to capture it on camera. It's easier to photograph it than to actually video it, but that's just the way these lights work. It's just hard for photographing or video recording these type of POV projects. So going back to the learning guide, we're just going to kind of browse through it and take a look at the build, the assembly, that sort of thing, in case you miss it. But the overview page just kind of talks about the project, has some prerequisites. Again, it has that list of all the POV projects because they're all really, really good and unique in their own way, using different platforms. Some of them use a Teensy, some of them use a Raspberry Pi. This one's kind of the first one that uses the Feather platform with CircuitPython, of course. And of course, with CircuitPython, you can plug it into your computer and change the code or swap out the images. We'll talk about the images and stuff like that in the next page. So all the components are right here. Any supplies and stuff. You need a couple things like screws, wires, that sort of thing. So they're all there. Tools and everything that I use to make the project. Let's talk about the circuit diagram. Very straightforward. The battery connects to the Feather directly through the little JST port, so there's no need to do anything crazy with that. You do need to wire in a slide switch to the enable and ground pins. That way you can turn the circuit on and off. Now, to power the strip of RGB LED DOTSTARs, we're using the 3.3 volt regulator. It is okay because we're only doing 32 pixels. That's actually how tall the stick is, or long the stick is, so it's 32 pixels using the 3 volt regulator. Why? Because we can use the on-off switch to turn off the 3 volt regulator and allow the battery to recharge through micro USB. So that's why we do that. The DOTSTARs do have an extra wire. It's doing, it needs clock and data and serial clock and serial data. And they are connected to the MOSI pin and the serial clock pins that are properly labeled, nicely labeled on the Adafruit Feather. So that's really nice. So that's the circuit. One last thing, obviously you have to be aware of the data flow. That's why I have these little arrows there. The only markings on the strip is the voltage and the ground and the arrows showing you where the data is supposed to flow. Since it's a high density strip, they couldn't fit the CI and the DI labels, but those are the data input and the clock inputs. But you can just kind of look at the order and be like, okay, it looks like the serial clock is next to the voltage. And that's kind of how you determine which it is, because there are no labels on the strip for those data pins. Let's talk about the software. So again, huge shout out to Lamar, Lady Ada, who wrote the software for this, using a couple different libraries and such. But you can grab the code. Oh, looks like I gotta fix that. Look, Pedro, oh no, temporarily unable to load the content. So it's on GitHub, so I'll have to refix this after the show. Yeah, but it's getting better all the time. The The CircuitPython bundle has everything you need, all the libraries and dependencies you need to get this up and running. It is very, very simple to get your Feather on CircuitPython. You just double tap the reset button, plug it in micro USB to your computer, and it shows up as a Feather boot drive. Drop in the UF2 file, you get the latest 2.1 version of CircuitPython. We're on 2.1 now, stable release. And then you just literally drag and drop libraries into the CircuitPy drive, and of course the main.py drive, which is the code that runs everything. So that's pretty much it. Again, I got to fix this link, so pretend that it works. It's on GitHub. If you search Adafruit's GitHub, you search for CircuitPython Painter, you'll definitely find it if you really want it right away. But I'll have it fixed in an hour or so. So let's talk about prepping the images. This only supports bitmap images. It's just the way the libraries work. It works best with bitmaps, 24-bit bitmaps. So JPEGs and GIFs are not supported. So you can use an online editor, an online converter to turn your GIFs into bitmaps. There is some size constraints. You can only make it 32. Well, you can make it taller if you'd like, but you would have to add more pixels. This design is meant for 32 pixels and 72 pixels wide. So anything in between those works well. And I found it necessary to kind of redraw a lot of the images, because when you scale big images down, they tend to get mangled up. So I ended up redrawing a lot. And of course, 8-bit graphics probably work the best, but you can definitely put, you can fit a lot of text, like at least 2 rows of text, which is kind of neat. I was able to fit the wording CircuitPython in there, which worked okay. But you could also do like scenes like this here, the kind of pipe scene from Mario. 3D printing, there's just 3 parts to print, the handles in 2 halves and the stick. That's pretty much it. All the STLs are on the usual sites. The Fusion 360 file is available to download, so you can see all the components. The only new components that I made for this project is the battery. That's the 2200 milliamp battery, and a parametric DOTSTAR strip. It could also be a NeoPixel strip, since they kind of have the same pitch and package size. So it could work for both type of projects, whether you're using NeoPixels or DOTSTARs. Pretty much the same width, thickness, package size of the LEDs, pitch of the LEDs, all the same. I'm going to do a layer by layer later on how I put that together, just kind of dive into that modeling a little bit deeper. The stick, so I put a little thing here about the stick. So the stick is it's about 250 millimeters long, and it doesn't fit on the Ultimaker 3, or at least it didn't in a regular, orientation. So if you rotate it 45 degrees, you get more diagonally, right? Mm-hmm. This is something that Pedro kind of learned and found and used for his Bioshock syringe cosplay prop that was like 400 millimeters long, and he was able to fit it on a Type A machine just by angling it or rotating it by 45 degrees. So
it was actually 600.
600? Mm-hmm. That's crazy, right? People asked, how did you do that? Yeah, so you just rotate it angularly or diagonally. So that works well, especially with the Ultimaker 3. It's got a little bit of a smaller bed. So the minimum bed size for the specific stick, 185 millimeters by 185 millimeters. Doesn't matter on the Z because it's like 4 millimeters thick. So that's the little thing about the stick. How do you fit a long stick like that that's beyond the bed size? And diagonal. Well, hopefully it works. All right, so onto the assembly. You do need to wire in the switch. So I have broken out steps on how to do that. I always recommend using things like third helping hands. You can add little bits of heat shrink tubing to the teeth so they don't bite your wires. I always recommend using 30 silicone coated wires, whether it's a 30 gauge or 26 gauge. For this project, the 30 gauge was just fine. They're thinner, really high quality wire. They're stranded, of course, so I recommend tinning them with some solder. Let's talk about the strip itself. So your strip tends to come in a meter. It has little wires hanging out of it, so you kind of have to take those out if you want. Mine was already cut up, so I didn't have to do that. But you will most likely have to do that if you have a fresh new strip. Right here, I'm talking about planing the cut. So because it's a high density strip, it's kind of difficult to cut it perfectly on the line where the pads are. So you can cut the pads in half, but then you won't have much to work with in terms of soldering. So what I did is I used the flush cutters to cut right on that tip there. And if you don't know, if you're new to the learning system, you can click on a photo and get really huge sizes here. Here's what the photo looks like, full 5K. So you can see here, I ended up cutting it just right on that edge here of those pads. So I definitely recommend kind of planning your cut and cutting, measuring, count your pixels 3 times and cut once. So that's and of course make sure where the signal direction is. You can see the wire or the line, the little arrows there pointing to the data flow. So for this project, I originally did 1 strip, and as well as playing with it, Pedro's like, why don't you do double-sided? Because the stick does have 2 sides. So I have two strips here, and that works fine. Just make sure they're the same pixel count, and make sure that they are sharing the data pins. And don't daisy chain them, because then it'll think it's a long strip. So that's what we're doing here. So the wires, I always recommend using heat shrink tubing, about 150 millimeter long wires. So they're kind of lengthy because they have to go from the end of this handle all the way over here. Recommend using colored wires just to help you tell the connections apart. Again, using third helping hands really helps out. Just keep everything sturdy while you're soldering. And there's what the 2 strips looks like, and they get plugged into the feather. Now the cool thing about the feather is that there's multiple power and ground rails, so you can plug in the power and ground to their own individual pins. However, you do want to share the serial clock and MISO pin, so you got to share those. Thankfully, with 30 gauge wire, they're thin enough where you can fit 2 wires into the pin, into those through holes. So it kind of looks a little messy, so that's why I recommend using heat shrink tubing. Keeps the wires separate from each other, and it's just easier to kind of manage. And that's what the final circuit looks like. Pretty simple, right? Yeah, it's because the feather has all those extra bits on it, like imagine a pro trinket lipo backpack, and then it's just the extra parts that you don't need for the feather, which is great. This final circuit assembly, we're using M25 machine screws. These are short screws, they're 4 millimeters long. They secure the switch to the handle. The handle has a little holder for the switch, of course, but nicely it has this these 3 little kind of clips that hold the battery in place, which is nice. You just clip it in, and it grabs onto it, which is kind of nice. So no need for mounting tack for the battery. Nido tape is what I use to secure the strip itself. Nido tape is really nice stuff. Check this stuff out. It's kind of pricey. It's like 20 bucks for a roll of this tape, but it's strong. I use it to secure metal and wood to my bed of my CNC machine, and it works really well. So I recommend Nido tape. It's better than foam tape because it doesn't leave any residue behind, and it's really thin as well, and it's strong. It's like made out of paper, but it's nice. So check it out if you haven't heard of Nido tape. So when you stick the strip onto the stick, that sounds terrible, you want to be aware of clearances. There's like a little safe zone because the way the handle clamps onto the stick, you just want to make sure you don't have any intersecting, or the clamp doesn't smash and smash into the strip here, because that can totally happen. It's really tight tolerances, so it won't allow for any extra bits on the side, at least where the handle is, where the clamp is. So the way the stick is secured is it has a T-slot at the end of the stick, and those little tabs are what kind of get nested into these little holder areas inside the handle. So that way you can't pull the stick out and you can't push it in, because those little walls keep that T-slot clamped in place. For even more secure, I'm using 2 machine screws it's like a corner, what is it called, counter bore standoff. So the screws are embedded inside here, and they secure the 2 together, so you cannot pull them apart. There are no snap fit nubs in the lip of this case, of the top half of the case, just because it adds more. Wanted to keep it slim, so I don't really have room to do it. You probably could, but I just opted not to do it. Didn't really need it. Here's what it looks like where I was talking about the strip where it gets clamped. You got to make sure you have enough clearance for that strip. You see how the wires are passing through there. I had to make a cutaway on both sides so that the wires can fit through. You might want to add some hot glue or something if you tend to do this in a humid area, or you're going to do this in the rain or something. You might want to protect the strip and these exposed things here. So there you go. That is the whole assembly. Photography, we'll do a quick thing about, oh no, this page broke. Oh no, it's just still loading. So I talk a little bit about long exposures, camera settings, f-stop, tripods, that sort of thing. You definitely want to shoot in the dark. Definitely want to use a flash if you're planning to get like nice photos with a point and shoot camera. It's a little bit more difficult to do it with a phone. There are apps, I think, that can do it. But if you're using a point and shoot camera, you're going to get some nice photos. So we were using an exposure or a shutter speed of 1/4 of a second all the way through 1/8 of a second. If you want a really, really long one, like this Christmas tree, you can do about 1 or 2 seconds. And that lets you have this nice repeating pattern here of Nyan cat. How do you say cat? Nyan? Anyway, that was cool. You can just put a, what is it called, an intervalometer remote on your camera, or just if you have a time-lapse setting like on a GoPro, you can be like, hey, take a photo every 1 second, and you can string together those photos to make a little animation like that. All right, that is the project. I hope you guys like it and are inspired to do some projects with dot stars or persistent vision. It'd be cool to adapt this onto a bike spoke or something that spins so you don't have to keep waving it around. That'd be really nice. So there's a lot of improvement for this project, I think. At its simplest core, this is what you can, it's like V1, right? Super simple. There's nothing too complicated about it. So it's a good entry level project. So now time for some questions.
Yeah, mostly just comments about the library linked not working.
Yeah.
I did update that, but let's see if
you did?
that
How'd you
works.
find it?
You just go to our GitHub
Yeah, and
under
just search,
the
right?
learning guides,
Yeah,
and you can just search for.
It's been
Printer.
there since October.
Yeah.
It's just it took me a minute to get to the point of like, oh, I can start modeling this thing.
Yeah. So some people in the chat are saying that it's not loading, but it's loading for me under
It's
GitHub
private.
/
Wait, no, it's not private. You're not. Yeah, it's public.
/ Adafruit learning guides, and it should be under CircuitPython Painter.
Yeah, the link is in the chat, guys. I gotta scroll up a little bit, but I'm gonna grab it here in the chat room, the YouTube chat room.
And I did update the learning guide too with that guide.
Thanks. I'm gonna have to copy and paste it because our object that is supposed to embed code from GitHub it doesn't seem to be working right now.
Okay.
Maybe I didn't link it right or something like that. But this is what it looks like.
Yeah, and anytime you guys want to look at any of the projects that are upcoming for libraries or anything
just go
that's being
This website right
pushed
there.
out, you can check this GitHub link out.
Oh, it looks like John Park is he put a fritzing diagram for this Neo Matrix Mark 1. So yeah, this has most of our thing, the LED candles. You can see you can sort this, I think, by like most recent update. So this is a good way to kind of get some code ideas. Yeah. So CircuitPython Painter is what it is. And here's some photos that Lamar took actually. She was prototyping. I don't know how she did these photos because I didn't design this yet, so I don't know how she maybe held it or something. I don't know. It works out really well. There's Blinka, by the way. Blinka looking cool. So that's where the code is. The link will be in the guide, or it is in the guide. This Pedro fixed it. Cool. So
Another really cool POV project to add to a growing list of these really cool projects. I saw somebody on the Discord channel that actually attached one to a fan, I want to say, and was
those
just
are cool.
using that to just spin it around.
I think there was like a lot of drones and stuff that are starting to put them on their propellers or something like that, where they're like flying.
Yeah, I mean, you could stick this on the
signs.
drone and then just fly around with
Yeah.
a low enough shutter speed. You should be able to get some cool images out of that. We actually should have tried that. It's a good idea.
That is a good idea. Another cool thing is, of course, you can plug it in, recharge the battery, or change the image. Not on the fly, but kind of on the fly.
Soon.
It's kind of amazing
soon.
that
as soon as we're able to edit these on our mobile devices, you should be able to.
Yeah,
because it
just plug
stores.
it in.
You can store the bitmap images.
Yeah,
on
I have
there.
like 3 bitmaps, and then I just swap out the code. And there's room if you're a software developer and you want to improve on this. I'd love to see somebody make a sort of a cycling thing where it just changes the image every so often.
Yeah, some of the comments on the video were suggesting to use a tilt sensor, so it would know how to do the timing once you get to each end.
Right.
So that's another
So
improvement that could be added.
there is a delay. There's an image delay. So every 200 milliseconds or so, it'll repeat that image. So it'd be cool if you could trigger that with some sort of switch. Probably Mercury tilt switch would be the best.
All right, Carlos is saying that it is now working. Very cool.
Awesome. Thanks. Sweet. All right. So
Yeah, give it to your kid to swing it around.
yeah, we did. He loves it. He actually really likes it. One last thing I'll note is if you're using a strip, when you're using the strip, make sure you don't do one of these. I should have looked, but you can see that sometimes the strip is 2 strips joined together with solder. So try to get a single strip and not one that is combined with 2 strips right here at the end. I sent Lamar my good one, so you can see there's a little bolster. But as far as it like being there, there's no wiggle to it. It looks like wiggly, but that's because it's the camera. But yeah, double-sided, works well. Nice long stick, again, 250 millimeters about. That's the handle. I did a lot of kind of rework on the handle because it just didn't feel right at first. So prints with no supports, which is nice. And the cutout, you can't really see it 'cause it's back there for the USB port. And there's some pretty, it's like 5 millimeter fillets or something. I tried 8 and it just kept, it would work, but you get sometimes this happens here where some of the layers don't bond because there's just a massive fillet. But it's all parametric too if you look in the CAD. And of course later today we'll do a layer by layer on how to put together the component for this.
Oh, I thought that you were going to segue right into that. 'Cause it's really
No,
cool.
it takes too long.
Do a little preview of it though, just to show what
Nah.
the layer by layer is going to be out. Well, I'll just tell them here.
Yeah.
So it's a editable strip for your pixels, so you can just in the user parameter update how long your strip is, and it'll update the model for that.
Yeah,
So
the
it's
cool
super
thing is that you can also change the pitch. So if you have a low density, a high density,
yeah.
really great way to kind of tell. Because I really haven't done a project with strips that need a component in 3D. Usually you just kind of add it to your prop or something, but this one kind of needed to, I was like, how long did my stick going to be? I need to have it very specific.
Yeah.
So
people were asking if we have a bike POV project. I just posted a link in the YouTube chat. You can check out. We have made a bike spoke POV display for that. Becky Stern worked on this really cool project. You can check it out.
I love that project.
And
yeah.
the entire guide.
Again, right here, you can see, here's probably the most epic POV thing you've ever seen. This is from Phil B.
This one is ginormous.
This is 288 pixels tall. There's Phil B right there. He made the
that
world.
quality.
Printed the whole map of the world.
Holy
It
crap.
was incredible. This is running a Pi. Pi 3. Look at those turtles. So if you want to see a really beast one, this is it. It's got every feature you would want. Buttons, switchers. It's made out of metal.
You gotta run on a Pi though.
Yeah, you gotta run it on a Pi. So this battery bank here has 2 amps out and 1 amp out for the LED, 2 amps for the Pi 3. Super dope. So check out, again, the list here. I figured I'd compile them all in this guide. So this is the latest POV guide. Just kind of get everybody like, hey, look at all these POV things. And Erin St. Blaine has done most of them in collabs with Phil B. And she actually uses these
cool.
for performance purposes. So she really uses them. They got to be built really good. They got to be waterproof.
Yeah.
They got to be playa proof. Go to the playa.
Beach,
and
water.
it's a combination of like some parts, 3D printing parts, that sort of thing. Very like if you're an advanced builder and you want to swing this thing around for your performance.
And just go to the learning site and type in POV. You'll see a list of all these because somebody was asking about the bike one. So I'm sure there's
like 2 of them.
Different. Lamar actually worked
Lamar
on
did one
of the
way
first ones.
back in the day, yeah.
So there are a nice assortment of different builds for these to fit your need.
Now, I like the Genesis Point. It's half of the size, so it's 16 pixels. And that's a really nice kind of cute one to kind of Swinging around. Looks really well. Yeah.
Very
All
cool.
right,
I'm
so
sure
those
you'll be
are-
seeing a couple more of these,
Yeah.
especially with.
I just like this one. That's my
I
favorite
know.
one, the sands.
That one
Sand
looks
skull.
really good in person, so you
Oh,
don't
looks
have to do
great.
any like messing with the shutter or anything like that.
No, every
It
time
just-
it's nice to. It's always time
yeah.
somehow. To
That's the other
figure it
thing you
out.
got to mention too. Picking an image that just comes out really good.
Yeah.
In real life, not needing to take a picture of it to see the actual image.
Yeah.
So
Very cool. All right. Well, if you want to pick up the DOTSTARs, we have a coupon code for you. It's DOTSTAR. Yeah, they're all listed in the tutorial, so you can grab those. We have all the different flavors, different sizes. Yeah, a lot of different DOTSTAR choices, but I recommend the high density one because they're so packed.
Yeah.
So packed.
So definitely want to get on board that before stocks run low, as
Yep.
they always do near the end of the holidays.
So if you go to adafruit.com/ or just go to the homepage, it'll give you a breakdown of what do you call it? The deadlines. I think it's right up here actually. It's in like the
Banner, yeah.
and it's a banner. So let's check it out.
Definitely want to
There it
make
is.
sure that you order before these. You want to give yourself some buffer room as well, because there will be storms, there will be delays,
Yep.
and
Mechanical
that'll be
failures.
completely out of our hands. And
Oh yeah. So this
definitely-
page here shows you all the dates and stuff and all the different services.
be
So
prepared.
it's nice we do that. Okay, moving on. Hey guys, we're gonna. I hope you like the project. Let me know what you think. Questions and all that is all welcome. You can hit us in the Discord chat room as well after the show, because we'll be there.
Yeah, cool. Let's go
What
ahead
are you
and jump
prototyping?
into this week's prototype.
You want to run through this?
Yeah, so just a quick little sneak preview of a very elegant, simple, minimalistic dock for a circuit playground express or a feather, anything really with a micro USB connection. We have a micro USB, the DIY shell that we have in the shop, and then a slot on the back so you can connect a cable to that. And this just looks and works so good.
Yeah, this
Love
is
the way it
great
looks.
because your board is usually on the floor and
Yeah, it's usually just
mess.
flopping around, like, risking shorting something.
It's nice to have it upright so you can see all the sensors. You can
nice to-
test it. So if you're developing something, or if you just want to have it on your desk, it kind of looks like a trophy. It looks
Yeah.
really nice. The overhead does kind of skews it a little bit, but
Yeah,
it looks
is at an
great propped
angle.
up on your desk. On
It's
your
like a
work
15-degree
surface.
angle, so you have a nice field of view on it. Displays all nice. Even looks like a little award. And of course, all sketch-driven, so nice to edit for a classroom. Customize these for your students, since you do have the ability to have these personalized. Wanted to make sure that people had the ability for that. And we'll take a look at the super simple build and the components that are making this.
Yeah, you kind of have to
nice-
fashion your own connector. Or you have to
Yeah, I say
wire
that it's a nice
breakouts.
simple project, but
No,
that's where it gets difficult in actually soldering.
Yeah, the
tiny
pitch is a
connections
little
here.
bit.
But we'll go over that.
Definitely want to use 30 gauge wires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll take a look at that next week. Nice, simple Apple Dock inspired circuit.
This really works for your
playground mount.
featherboard or your micro USB devices that are lightweight. This would
Yeah.
work for anything because it's just USB. So it's not just power. You're actually getting data from these pins.
Oh yeah.
So it's a snap fit enclosure. It's really nice and tight.
It's
No
really
screws,
tight.
no glue necessary. There's a little
Like
wiring
sneak
in there.
peek inside.
Yeah.
Cool. We will take a look at this next week.
Sweet.
Cool.
Good job, man. All right, let's jump into a little bit of a shop talk slash prototyping. We are in full swing of using Snapchat spectacles to document and capture some of our work. So I recently got myself a pair, and I really like them. I'm not wearing them right now, but I do wear them when I'm building stuff. And one of the cool things about the Snapchat is, of course, it records video. You get a nice view. It's like 180 degrees or something. Maybe
It's a
more.
pretty wild,
It's a wide
field of view.
So when you look at other alternatives like strapping a GoPro to your head, for example, you could do that. But what I like about the Snapchat is I don't have to set up a camera. I don't have to worry about an SD card. I don't have to worry about missing a shot. I can keep working and just snap it when I need to. These are really cool. They're about 129 bucks off Amazon. They're no longer exclusive. They did kind of a weird thing in the beginning where they made it exclusive. You could only get it in certain
Vendors that would
machines.
pop up,
It's
yeah.
kind of weird. So you're able to capture moments like this. Like that was Paige's son, Gavin, swinging this sword, swinging the pop around. And what I did here was I just compiled a quick kind of supercut of this project being inceptioned. Like, it's kind of neat. This is what it looked like before the final prototype. It's very different in terms of the case design. And some little tips here and there, like using a deburring tool to get rid of things, and using the freeze can from your air can to get a print off the bed really quick. Of course, it works well for soldering and stuff. The quality's not bad. It's actually 1152 by 1152, because you can actually get the HD video off the glasses. Yeah, so Pedro's been using them for a while now. So if you haven't been watching Pedro's Instagrams, that's where he shares all of his Snapchat videos. I'm starting to do that as well.
Yeah, so I've been doing these since April, and quite recently IDEO actually made a really cool project with them, which got you to go ahead and just grab a pair for yourself. It's a very nice, well done document on using these as a safety glasses in the workshop.
Yeah, save your eyes and your process. So this is really cool. It's a nice write-up. The designer here who put this guide together made them so that they're actual safety goggles or glasses, so that they're side protectors, so you can hack those. And what's cool about it is you see this sign here. This is for their shop. So they're called Shop Safety Spectacles, and it's basically made out of wood, and he made it sort of meta style. So if you watch this YouTube video, it's basically what we did. So he's going and showing the process of printing out the labels, cutting the pieces of wood, sanding the pieces of wood, laminating, silk screening, all this stuff with his Snapchats. You can really document your stuff pretty well. Again, it's a lot more convenient to just have them on your head and act as safety goggles than putting a GoPro on your head. Not anything against putting a GoPro on your head, but it just seems like it's actually just a little bit cheap. $129. You're not gonna get a GoPro for that.
GoPros cost $500. Yeah.
So this is really cool. I'm happy to see this. So I got inspired to get some because of this post, and I've just kind of been off the fence on it for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
so
we've
really cool.
been trying this for quite a while. At first, we tried it with, like you said, the GoPro, having that strapped to your head. And then we tried it with, the Google glasses, which made me nauseated because of the prism that you would look through as the viewfinder, and the video quality wasn't good at all. They would overheat. Battery life was abysmal. So having something that's lightweight, just fits on your head, and these are actually prescription glasses. So I use these to to see.
That is the main reason why I did not get these, was because I actually need glasses. I have very bad vision. I have about 5 power glasses. So I actually got these ordered. They were custom made from Rochester Optical. And what's really cool is we actually have a guide on the learning system, if I can find it, about Snapchats, about using them. There it is.
So this was actually posted quite a while ago before we even got these. And I was on the fence for a while about them too, until PT was like, hey, get these and do projects with them.
Yeah, so this is Timothy Reese on the learning system, who documented how to kind of add
prescription
lenses to them. And he basically shows this is what your options are. 5 different cameras. It weighs nothing on your head. It really doesn't. So here he is, like I think cutting some material down, and kind of showing how the software is a little bit different on the software now, but it works really well. They're pretty cool. The case is a charger. There's a lot of little things about this, but it's just good to know that it is accessible. It's $129 on Amazon. Anybody can get it.
Yeah, I think the biggest.
They're not just sunglasses. Maybe that's the thing.
I think
Maybe that's why
the
nobody
biggest
uses
thing.
them.
It's like, because it would be difficult to film anything indoors. So if you go over the overhead, want to show too, another thing about our lenses, they're photochromatic, which means as soon as you step outside, you can see there, they turn into sunglasses as soon as you step outside. Yeah. So you can get these with those photochromatic lenses, so you can have your sunglasses outdoors, but then have them turn into regular prescription glasses, or what you can even get clear ones too with no prescription on them.
Yes, that's true. And that is what Timothy, or actually the person from IDEO, the designer from IDEO, he got just regular blank ones. They're about $30. So it's in the video here. There's their website. So this company, Glasses, that's the Snapchat website. But here, Glasses USA, I guess is a manufacturer of lenses and stuff. They, oh look, 60% off. And here you go. They're the different types of lenses you can get for these guys. So getting clear ones is super easy, or prescription ones. I don't think they even charge you for prescription, somewhere in there, so.
I mean, it's got us, because the photochromatic stuff is pretty difficult to
Yeah. Well, if you want, you don't need photochromatic, especially if you're in a shop. You don't need that.
This is where it starts making a lot of sense.
For personal use, we definitely wanted to get the
check out my pirate
ones.
look.
Yeah, Pirate Pedro. So yeah, I hope that was interesting to you guys. We are going to continue to use them in capturing our work and stuff, as you saw. This is cool. Oh, actually, I have a comment in the chat about, does the freezer spray only work good for removing prints from the glass 3D printer bed? I've never tried that. I just randomly tried it. I snapped it and it worked. I did not want to wait 10 minutes for the part to cool because it's stuck to the bed because it's, you know, heated glass. So it sticks to the bed until the bed's fully not hot anymore, fully cooled. Then your part can come off. But I was like, I don't want to wait for this. I wonder if I flip the air canister upside down, because I know it freezes. And that worked. It didn't mess up the bed and it didn't mess up the part. It just froze it really quick. It didn't warp it either. So that was really neat. How long until reporters just wear those?
I mean, you don't have zoom functionality.
No.
The field of view is really wide.
Right. This is only good for like showing your hands and building process.
I mean, it would be really cool too, because you can catch off the record type things.
Sorry, yeah.
And, other moments you want to be able to capture otherwise. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the rapid freezing didn't warp it, surprisingly. Yeah. I used a really long brim as well. So I'm surprised it works. Maybe that's a tip. Another tip is that tool there, the deburring tool. Kirby actually told me about it, I think a couple of years ago, and I just didn't do anything because I'm a terrible person. Then I saw Donald Bell from Maker Update talk about it, and this is the tool. It works really well. It has a swivel head here, so when you want to get rid of, look at that, it can give you nice chumpers
really
as well.
Yeah.
So it works really well. You can see the shavings here, and it comes with an extra thing here. So I'll have that linked. Or you can check out Maker Update Donald Bell on YouTube. He does great tip recommendations. Another shout out to Kirby, because he gave me the initial idea to use these guys for deburring your things. Because a lot of times, when you get a print off the bed, at least for me, I like to use a long brim. And just pop this off the bed. So I like to have this long brim here, because it just ensures that my part's going to stay on the bed. And you just kind of remove the brim like this.
Super easy.
Like that. It gives you a nice clean edge. So there's your tip for today. Use
Super
the deburring
satisfying
tool.
to
It's meant
clean
for,
that up.
Yeah, it's meant for PVC pipes, because it can get inside there and swivel around. And the blade's not that sharp, but be careful with it. It just makes it super easy. It's better than using an X-Acto knife or something. So that's my little tip. Nice deburring tool. And Snapchats. Cool. All right.
All right, now we can jump into this week's shop talk.
Yeah.
I've been posting a lot on my Instagram about the workflow on the all-new updated Palette Plus
From Mosaic Manufacturing.
So that was this week's Timelapse Tuesday. It is a 4-color Sphinx. And let's go ahead and just get this out of the way. The waist, or prime tower as it's called, is how you're actually switching between the colors using just one extruder. We actually took a look at this last year when they had just finished up the Kickstarter campaign and they had started with orders going through. Since then, they've done a lot of updates in terms of the firmware, the software to process all the slicing, as well as the hardware and the operation on how it's actually joining the filaments together. So I can start running the B-roll for this too. This is what the filament for that looks like. So what it's doing is it's feeding 4 filaments inside of the metal enclosure. Can you find the footage for that?
I have a Snapchat of you unboxing it.
That's what I'm talking
and
about.
Walking through it. So I'm going to pause it periodically so we can kind of see, because it's a quick edit. So let's see what we got here. Ready? Don't blink, guys. Don't blink. No, seriously. Don't blink.
Yeah, so here is the updated model. All of the updates have been on the inside, the way that it's doing the slicing and joining the filament pieces together. They've updated that, and before there would be like, you know, some misses in the way that it was joined, but now it's pretty well now. There's no bulging, there's no like weird like oddities with the way that it's slicing the filament. So if you got, for recap, the way that it's doing this is with this little encoder that is mounted to the side, and it's reading how much filament is actually passing through, and it's slicing and joining those based on the model, where the colors are for all that. And they did a lot of really nice updates to the software. It does a nice graphical walkthrough of how to calibrate, so it can know the length between the nozzle and the end of the extruder. And it'll walk you through that, printing the calibration cube for that. It'll load all of your filaments on the fronts, like you're seeing here. And we're able to get some really nice phenomenal prints out of this. And you can see the scroll wheel encoding, figuring out how long it needs to slice each.
Oops.
Oh, did you
I hit
rewind?
the P button, yeah. Accidentally. Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about, I already forgot because I made a mistake here. So I was just going to watch this again.
Yeah, so it goes through, cuts up all of your filament, and feeds it through into your extruder, all pre-slice, so it'll lay down the colors of where the next portion of the model needs to be for the mesh.
So you're using Octoprint to run this, right?
Yep, just Octoprint. There's only one process between getting it over to your printer, and then what it's doing there is just processing what motor is slicing what color.
Okay.
And that was the first print there. It turned out really good. Just did some tweaks on the retraction and the temperature for that. And here is the purge tower for that. Right before the show, I got an email on, yes, that we've had comments on, just the how much material is being used for swapping between colors, but they are working on a lot of optimizations using processing, the processing workflow inside of Simplify 3D to actually reduce the prime tower by like 75%. So they are actively working on that.
Sweet, and you can still modify and tweak the size and density of the prime tower, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just kind of default. You're going to get the best results kind of with this.
Yeah, and we've seen this before with other multi-extruder setups like the Ultimaker and the Sigma. When they first released, there was quite a bit of waste in terms of the purging that was happening.
Yeah.
Skip forward to like a year later, the Ultimaker 3s require absolutely no purging for that. They're able to do a dual extruded model with like no waste at all.
Yeah, and a lot of it has to do with the retracting nozzle and just knowing when
how to
cool down so it doesn't ooze.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes longer, unfortunately. But that's just the name of the game with this.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at other processes like, CNC machining, you look at a lot of waste. It's just the name of the thing.
Way
it's the
more
name
waste.
Of the process.
Yeah.
Okay, so people are accustomed to like zero waste, and it's amazing 3D printing can do that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also amazing that you can do this with 4 colors and 4 different materials.
I think that's a highlighting point right there in terms of everything that's manufactured right now. Complete waste. Like all the things that are CNC'd, there is so much that is so much material that's removed.
You kind of can't. You got
There's no other way.
You really can't. Maybe you can melt it down, but with this, here's a kind of fun idea that we have. Is I actually want to take this high density brick and machine it. I want to put this in the other mill and make a case or something. Maybe an SD card holder, and actually use this because it's heavy. It's dense.
Yeah.
I think this will be really cool to machine. Obviously, I'm going to get some new tool bits so I can
deface it.
I can deface it. I can face this off and like, oh man, it's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be fun. So we're gonna do that.
On to other.
Let's play here. So here's some time lapses that we took with our BLE slider of the print happening here.
Mm-hmm. So with keeping that in mind, that they are working on optimizing the purge towers for this.
Give them a follow on Instagram. They share a lot of great kind of behind the scenes and just things that they're printing, things they're working on. Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool.
So I did try printing out. Here's the operation of how that is actually heating and joining the filaments together.
Yeah.
So I did run into some clogs trying to use the conductive PLA, Ninja Flex, and the conductive.
materials.
So they are there are 3D printed parts that you can install on it. So it'll make the gaps between the gears and the feeding tubes a lot more narrower.
Sweet.
So they are working on.
If like one of these tubes, for example, get mangled up, they don't send you a replacement.
So it's pretty simple to actually disassemble and clean up. So it is pretty modular.
So you weren't down for too long because you were printing quite a bit.
Yeah, all it was, one of the tubes just got mangled a little bit, so I was able to switch to just using 3 colors. But they are actively doing a lot of updates, software-wise, hardware-wise, and the processing of these. So definitely excited in terms of being able to use multiple materials. For this, so that's where the advantage really kicks in.
I want to have one where there's a project that's flexible, different colors, conductive, and I don't know.
So that's where it clogged on me. I was trying to print a project that they did where it's like a mesh box with a ball inside. So it's 2 colors and then the PVA,
for the
dissolvable material. So anytime you're trying to do something like that on an Ultimaker, you lose the dual color abilities of it because you're using one of the extruders for dissolvable material, so you're back to just a 1-color print. This is, I think, the advantage of this. If you're doing PVA supports, you still have 3 other colors that you can bring your model to life with. And I just wanted to show a couple of the other models of the other time lapses that will be coming up.
You have a whole month of time.
Got a whole month of these, yeah. So if you just take a look at the transitions between the colors, it looks really nice.
Super sharp.
Super sharp. If we can get the focus on, there is a tiny bit of bleeding that occurs, but you can clean this up. Actually, right there, but this is right on the outer edge of it, which is pretty simple to clean up with just flush cutters. So, wrong thing. Flush.
That ain't flush.
Just want to demonstrate how it's not embedded in there. You can actually get to these like that. They're like right on the outside, and that's like temperature tweaks that you can do, or the retraction I can play with as well. So pretty easy to clean those up like that. And they've got a couple more.
The wheels are printed separately, by the way.
Yeah, the wheels are printed
separately. But
separately.
this one was not. This one was all print in place, the wheels and all.
Yeah. So this really brings to life these models. And especially for stuff like architectural, which this is one of the models they sent me, and this really sells across if you're doing presentations for city or something. You want to make sure that they can completely visualize what colors or layout or setting is, and having a quickly printed out model that can show all that is the difference between getting that deal or not. So people who usually say, "Oh, that's such a waste," it's really not for you. This is for people who are doing this for
industry. Okay.
For industry, yeah. So, and there isn't really another way to do this with a single extruder. And I've seen some images of them actually having 2 of these hooked up to a dual extrusion setup. So you'll have
8 colors.
8 colors, yeah. So there are definitely huge advantages of having a separate machine doing the splicing for you.
This is great.
So we're definitely going to continue playing with this. Got more models that we're actually going to be slicing your Boomy model, because we are doing that the old-fashioned way of printing separate pieces and then sticking them all together. It would be super nice to have a nice flat uniform face for Boomy, and having while maintaining all of those colors plus more. We just made it a little bit inefficient to print all these tiny little pieces to complete the Boomy look.
Should put the Mosaic logo on the wand.
Oh, that's a good idea. All the colors are on there, yeah.
Right. But what's cool about it wasn't going for $9.99 retail. I believe they've lowered the price.
Yeah, I think it's like $7.99 now.
So it's a good time to get one.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at having these stocked in the store, because this is definitely takes your engineering game to the next level in terms of being able to bring a lot of these models to life.
Yeah, I'd love to see someone like Garrett from Chaos Core Tech use this in his models, because he tends to do a lot of character models.
It's a good point there too, especially if you're having like a lot of fine detail where getting a tiny little sanding block or like colors to paint makes it, very difficult or impractical, this is definitely the way to go to be able to get such tiny little details for colors in there.
Sorry, I'm in my own world.
It's pretty cool. So again, check them out. We'll be doing a lot more with these.
We'll have more updates for you guys, and we'll continue to make some projects around it, or print some things rather. So this is the time lapse. So if you didn't see the time lapse, this is Tuesday's time lapse, and there it is. There's all the settings and stuff. You're starting to add some new things to it, like waste, how much material was wasted in this particular one. You can change that, of course, but here's a good insight look at it.
Yeah, this is already going to be out of date. Like all the
settings.
All the settings are going to be completely out of date when they start implementing.
You did have a little curling going on there.
Yeah, that's just because I didn't use the heated bed. For whatever reason, the Type A with the heated bed freaks out.
Yeah,
the PID
we'll have
or
to look
something.
at it,
There's something wrong with the when you look at like temperature wave, it's like all out of whack.
All out of whack.
That's just a printer specific problem.
So expect the next month being multicolored prints.
A lot of really nice
Mosaic
looking time lapses for that coming up.
Cool. You guys got any questions about it? Let us know. And you can always hit up the Mosaic team. They're actually in the chat room hanging out. Thank you for joining us. And I think that's it. That's it for Shop Talk.
Go ahead and jump into this week's Community Makes.
Yep. So we should probably link the Sphinx, right? Is it linked here?
I'll link that in.
I got it. No worries, I got it. Here is the link, folks, in the Thingiverse maybe. I'd love to see somebody with a Prusa, the quad Prusa thing. And
John is asking for giveaways. We do giveaways
every single Wednesday.
Every single Wednesday at 8:40 or 8:50, near the end of the show of Ask an Engineer.
You can call in. You call in the number. They pick up the phone. You sweat bullets, and you have to say what you're working on, what you want to work on, what your name is, and where you're from. And you get a free unreleased, well, kind of released, the day that Lamar normally gives away like the thing, like the hero.
The new product that's released, on Wednesday. Today, later tonight at like 8:50 p.m. But tune in at 8 p.m. to catch the show.
The whole show, yeah. There it is. Again, programming note, Ask Engineer starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And we have a show and tell as well where you can win some stickers and stuff.
For showing off your project,
Showing off your project.
And if you're not in Discord at Adafruit. Or what's the link? I always forget.
Discord.gg/Adafruit.
Yeah, we do giveaways there. If you have a project that has mistakes on projects, you also get a really cool Sparky pin as well.
Sweet. No school tonight. We'll have to check it out. So John, cool. We'll see you there. All right. And let's continue our community make. I got a couple of links that I'd like to share with you guys. Some awesome projects. If you guys have any projects you'd like us to share on the show, just drop us a link and we'll share it. Or in Discord, we'll share it as well. So let's take a look at the first thing I found. This is from I'm a new subscriber to this maker, and she goes by the YouTube channel Make It and Fake It. It's very cool. So it turns out she 3D printed a bracelet in Ninja Flex and then braided it after the fact. So check out this video. It's a neat concept to kind of braid a 3D printed thing. So here's what it looks like when you first print it. It's kind of just these strips where she kind of cuts it. So it's a neat technique, I think. I haven't seen anybody do this.
Yeah, it definitely saves in terms of taking the fail. Yeah, because if you try to print these separated like that, what if the bed's not leveled or something? Yeah, it's a lot more easier to just print one big old.
It's exactly the length you need. It's customized
length, and just go in there and go ahead and cut it and then do the braid for it. I think it's a better way to have this actually work instead of having adhesion problems or anything like that, because it is such a wide base that you're printing.
So check her out on Make It and Fake It. I'm actually going to subscribe through the Adafruit channel. I'm already subscribed with them, and I always give everybody 2 subs just because they have 2 channels. Cool. So check her out, and good work. Also, Matt Denton is a fairly new YouTuber, I want to say. Matt Denton is the guy behind the Mantis robot, and most recently, probably well known, he made BB-8. He is the engineer, one of the engineers that made the working BB-8. So he's a mechanical engineer, electrical dude as well. And there's an ad. Don't watch the ad.
Every single time we're streaming.
Yeah. So I found Matt Denton through James Bruton from X Robots. So they kind of partner up here every now and then. And he's making some really cool builds. He's making these giant Lego builds. So he made a giant Lego forklift. And in this one, he originally started with, and here's his like prototype. I love his format. He's a very charming dude. Explains everything very well. We take a look at all the things, and it's a series of these. This is actually episode 12. So check it out. I'm gonna have it on the blog. If you are looking for some new maker content, this is phenomenal stuff. So check it out. That's Matt Denton on YouTube. Here's a filament sensor. This is nice. We've seen these before, but it's always nice mentioning that, hey, these are great. We probably really need to make one of these. So tell me about it, Pedro. You know a little bit more about it than I do.
Yeah, it's just an end stop. As the filament goes through it, it'll close the switch, and there's a GPIO pin that you can hook up to your Octoprint setup.
To your Raspberry Pi. Okay.
Raspberry Pi, and it'll tell it to pause the print. And
So
it's
it's
been in
just like
there
a
for
switch.
quite a while, yeah.
It's like, why haven't we done this yet? It's kind of funny.
So this is just a box to have that, and the Teflon tube that'll have the filament feeding through there.
Right.
Nice, super
So again,
elegant
it's just
way.
a mechanical kind of. It's mechanical slash electrical, because it is closing a circuit or when opening a circuit rather. When there's nothing feeding through there, so that's how it works. It's pretty simple. Yeah. All right. We'll probably end up doing
I
that.
thought that was a really cool
So
one.
check it out. We'll share that on the blog. And this is from Becky Stern. She made her own
awesome filament drying box.
That's right. So, more ads.
Every single time.
I need to set up my pie hole.
Yeah, so
But
Becky
these
got
ads
a
support.
new printer and wanted to make sure that none of the filament was absorbing any moisture. She built this really cool box to hold a couple spools of filament.
Yep. So check out Becky's guide. It's a write-up on Instructables. Give her a view, subscribe if you're not subscribed already. She just hit 10K. So
Cool.
let's get her up to 100. Woo! Okay, now we can take a look at the show and tell channel on Discord. Are we still here? Yeah. It looks
Which
like
is, again, discord.gg/Adafruit. We have a ton of different channels on there, all from 3D printing, wearables, CircuitPython. We have project help, and of course, the show and tell, which we're checking out here.
Yep.
Quite
Just like
a
Jack-
bit of postings, but let's try to go through these.
Yeah, we got to
relatively
because
quick.
we got to go.
Oh.
So Jack is sharing a project here. He's got kind of a project box going on. So it's really nice
Always
to see.
helpful. Yep.
This is funny.
sounds hilarious.
Dapper Donald is the YouTube video. Factory. This is a masterpiece. It's kind of funny. I would play it, but we got to rush. It's an audio player.
Next one is a
using
really
Arduino.
cool Gladys cosplay. Definitely check out the video for that.
Yeah,
One
very,
of
very
the
cool.
cons.
From
Cool.
Katika Creations.
Scroll down.
Yep.
We got some open source checking out on the
Yeah, Vincent is checking out
Chevy
the
Volt.
Chevy Volt. It's an electrical vehicle.
Very cool.
This
Got
is
a
some
nice
more
little-
photos from Katika Creations. I believe they're at a con of some sort, showing
Cool.
off their work. Looks really, really cool.
First 3D printed supercar.
Very
Awesome.
cool. Always nice to hear some news there. Cascade is doing some phenomenal work here with his project. He's doing some nice photography as well.
Actually had some
Lower.
really good tips too. He's trying
It's
to
getting there. We're getting
replicate the Adafruit photography style and added some links on where to get the black PVC material that
That's right. We're gonna get some.
that Andrew
So
uses.
thank you,
Our
Cascade.
photographer Andrew uses for that. A really cool project from Chris Young, a 3D printed Christmas ornament using a Circuit Playground Express. I actually want to do this as a Timelapse Tuesday because I
Yes.
love the shape of this, and it should look really cool printing.
That's right.
It's pretty cool. Code and the designs are up on Thingiverse.
That's right. This
We
is from
have
Bravo
a
Delta.
Simon game using Circuit Playground.
CircuitPython.
Oh, Circuit Python.
We have one, but it's for Arduino. This one's
Yes, this is
CircuitPython
the
powered.
Circuit Python.
Super awesome.
Yep.
Super awesome. And
Scroll down.
Singing Guts. We'll take a look at that a little later. That sounds kind of cool.
some desoldering components off a board.
Great skill to learn.
Especially if you're trying to jam it into the slimmest possible enclosure.
Charles Crawford III was awarded a Sparky pin for his recent mistake here, where the LiPo battery exploded. One of these robot hands exploded in half. He's testing science.
Yep, it happens. That's how you learn.
And of course, here's the blog post. If you have a spectacular failure that you've filmed it or took a photo of it, share it with us. You'll win. You'll most likely win a little pin of Sparky, the blue smoke monster. We have some more kind of hackery work going on here. Power Meep. Some videos of this OLED. I think that was a really cool one.
That one was really
show
cool.
it maybe next week. And then some nice PCBs here.
Custom boards.
Yeah, look at the little adapters and stuff for the Trinket M0.
Very cool.
Very nice.
This one is
Dishipu
awesome.
is making progress with his game library for the CircuitPython.
Yep,
He's
he
been
just
on the
got-
show and tell a little bit. And
Yeah, he's
showing
got
off.
like sprites working, textures for building levels. So definitely check it out if you want to make a fully CircuitPython based game.
Daniel reworked the Circuit Playground Express IR laser tag into this pirate kind of pistol. Really neat. And I think that was originally from, or he wrote his own Arduino code. Sweet. Using basic idea from John Park's project. Here's some more photos from Cascade. Look at that. It totally looks like an Adafruit product photo. It's great. Any links to this stuff here, which is stuff we're going to pick up too. It's the PVC Photo Photography Studio lighting paper backdrop. Stuff looks really nice. I love the texture of it. It doesn't have too much reflection, so it's nice for photography.
I like the glittery
Flash.
effect it has.
I like it, yeah. This was a great video here by Lobster Thief. Definitely give him a subscribe. Really, really nice hack of Amazon Echo on this Furby. It's very informative, very, very nice. Definitely
like
check
the format
it out.
of it, yeah.
I love the format of it. I hope you do more videos. I can't wait to see more. And I'll have that shared on the blog as well. So it's super cool.
Nice assortment of parts that came in. That's always exciting.
Yep. And the last one is from Liz from Blitz City DIY. So check out her latest Hackster IO write-up on a light-up musical snow globe. That sounds really cool. Look
awesome.
at Charlie Brown in there. Super dope. We're gonna check that out after the shows.
I just saw that being
Just got in.
retweeted on the Twitter account.
Give that a
Very awesome.
sweet. And I think she'll be on tonight's show and tell.
Cool. Speaking of which, if you guys have a really cool project you guys want to show off,
Come on the show and tell.
7:30 p.m.
You'll win the sticker.
Check out the Discord chat room for the direct link so you can get invited. Show off your awesome project. We're there every week.
That's right.
Stop by, say hi, and then right after that we'll have Ask an Engineer with Lamar and Phil. Full hour of all the things Adafruit.
That's right.
Check out some new products, some unreleased secret projects.
That's right.
Products.
And tomorrow, be sure to tune into John Park's Workshop Live.
He's got some really cool projects. I
At
remember which one he
3
was
p.m.
doing.
Eastern time. Sorry,
Yes.
I need to tweak this to have the time slot. in
Yeah,
there.
really cool project he's always working on. And if you want to take a sneak peek at some of the code he's written, take a look at our GitHub
Last
page.
week was great. He was modeling, he was soldering, he was doing all these things. Like, we don't really build things on the show. We just talk about what we built.
Yeah.
I like John because he actually
Takes you through
takes you through the
step by
build
step.
process, which is great. A little bit harder, but it's always appreciated. And don't forget, DOTSTAR is today's coupon code. We'll also have another coupon code tonight for Ask Engineer. That's going to be it. We got to get out of here, but thank you guys so much for joining us. It's good to be back. We never really left, but we just didn't do the show because we were working. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. And we'll see you guys later tonight. And if not, tomorrow. Not tomorrow.
Next week.
Next week.
Thanks for joining, guys. See you next week.
Bye, everybody.